Okay, I am now recording. So good morning, everybody. Good to see you. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been an interesting couple of weeks for me. I think you may all know that besides being on vacation, I had the pleasure of getting COVID after the first couple of days on vacation. So fortunately, I did not get very sick, but as far as I can tell, I am fully recovered. And as I was telling those who were on a little earlier, I am actually in a really cool library in Springfield. I'm staying with my brother-in-law on a farm out about 15 minutes from Springfield. And the only internet he can get is HughesNet. And I cannot even get T-Mobile on my phone. So I've had to use, excuse me, I've had to use Wi-Fi calling. So guess what? It's been an interesting challenge, but anyway, I'm here and ready to rock and roll. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, so here's the agenda. Thanks to our sponsors, as always, Care First Health Plan, Valley of the Sun United Way, Satellite Broadcasting and Communications Association, Khajiit, and Triad Wireless. So thank you all for your support. Are there any new people? It looked like there were a couple of new people online. Are there any new people this morning joining us?
Hi, Steve. My name is Jill Bratton. I'm with Pima Community College East, the HSI STEM IT Knowledge and Context Grant. So, and my camera is not working. I apologize.
No, not a problem.
But I'm the new outreach and internship coordinator. So I'm looking forward to listening and learning a lot today and in future meetings. So thank you for allowing me to come.
Yeah. So Jill, make sure we have your contact information.
Perfect.
Hi, Steve. This is Sean Osteran. I'm the CEO, president of Integrated Access Technology Group. We're a MSP based in Tucson. We cover the state, and we're just trying to get more active in the community. And I found out about this from Michelle Blumenfeld over at WeCare last week, and she and Cindy have invited me today.
Oh, good. Well, glad you could join us, Sean, and we'll want to learn more about what you're doing also. Anybody else? Anybody else new today?
This is Alan Thomas, manager of IT infrastructure at Pima County. Michelle also invited me to this, so I'm here to listen and learn and contribute as much as I can. Great.
So since you've all registered, I do have your contact information with your emails, and we'll make sure we get you all added to our list. Anybody else new this morning?
Hey there, Steve. This is Debbie McNeil. I'm also with Pima County infrastructure manager there, and excited to join.
Great. Debbie, were you with, do I know you?
Yeah, we've crossed paths a long time ago.
Yeah, you were with
long time ago, I was with Cisco.
Cisco. I thought that was you. Yep. I saw your name recently.
Yep.
Thought that was you. Long time ago.
Good to see you, Steve.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Good to see you, Debbie. Anybody else? Going once, going twice? Okay, so moving on. So as you all know, I am on vacation. So we will not be meeting next week. We will be meeting on the 15th and on August the 8th. So just FYI. So just quickly, I've had an interesting, yesterday we had a chance to do a little traveling to get to tell my stories since I run this meeting. But just quickly, we had a fun day yesterday, went to Bentonville. And if most of you may know that's the home of Walmart. And they have an incredible art museum started and mostly funded by Walton family. It was just really phenomenal. And then we had a chance to stop at a place called Eureka Springs. You guys should look it up on the internet. Really phenomenal. They have healing waters. And so they actually have bathhouses, but they've got all kinds of shops, and it just blew me away. Absolutely phenomenal. And then on the way home, we passed through Branson, Missouri, which is really interesting place. Anyway, that's enough of my story about my vacation. So again, if you haven't, please take time to fill out the participant database and contacts form so that we can have all of your contact information, although we have much of it through your registrations. And then next thing is, as you may know, I've been using Otter transcription service, which is definitely better than the transcription service through Zoom. And not perfect, but it's a whole lot better. So that will be available for you to download that transcription later on, probably in a day or so. So next thing is we are working on, we do want to create a cybersecurity task force team. As again, those of you who have been online know that that cybersecurity is a big issue as we're going about getting people connected and so forth. And so we need some folks to step up and lead that. I've had a couple people have already offered to participate. If you have any interest, please let me know. Just to be clear, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Steve, this is Sean O'Stran again. One of our subsidiaries is a cybersecurity consulting and compliance company, CyberLogic Security. I'd be happy to invite them. I'm sure they might be interested in helping run that committee,
Awesome.
or at least participating.
Awesome. And just to be clear that we are not going to create our own entity. What we are going to do is to try to get them to understand what the needs are and come up with recommendations and strategy, and to look at a potential home for some kind of a cybersecurity entity, but not for us to create our own. So I just want to be clear about that. Next thing is, so Holly or Mala, you guys online, are you still looking for a digital inclusion librarian?
Yes, we are. But in the meantime, Cindy Hogan is contracting with us to work with Keeping Connect Arizona, the digital navigators, and our digital inclusion projects on target.
And that was an excellent choice.
Yes, it was.
Can't think of anybody better for you at this point in time. So, and Cindy, good job. So we're glad to have you in that position. Now you're getting paid a little bit for all the great work you do. So moving on, it's time. Any announcements, any other announcements that people have before we move on to our updates?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Sharika, go ahead.
So I want to announce Future Stars is officially having its first fundraiser on September 9th at Arizona Science Center. It's an adult STEM party. Tickets went on sale this morning. Sponsorships available this morning. I will throw it all in the chat, but good times. There will be car racings that you build your car, then you're going to race your car, and then a Jenga tournament, and then full access to the first floor of the Science Center. And for those of you that like alcoholic beverages, they will be there as well. So
Cool.
Come on out.
So yeah, be sure and put it in the chat. And while she mentioned that, again, just to remind you that when I try to prepare the follow-up to the meetings, that I go through the chat, and if there's any announcements in there, links to pages, anything that you're aware of, if you want that to be included in the follow-up, please put it in the chat. It makes it much easier for me to be able to capture that information if it's in the chat. So with that, we're going to move on. I haven't looked at the participants yet. Jeff, are you online this morning? Going once, going twice. I take it he is not. Sandip, are you online? Okay, so moving on, Mala, you online today?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you're on.
Yes, I really don't have too much to report this time, except that I would, and I'll put this in the chat, that on August 5th, there is, FCC has an open meeting and it is from 10:30 to 12:30 Eastern time. And it's like I said, it's an open meeting. So if anyone wants to attend, they can. It is fcc.gov/live. Very simple to remember. And again, I'll put that in the chat so you can capture it, Steve. They are focusing on a few topics like affordable connectivity outreach. They're also focusing on some pilot programs that have been reported back. They are talking about the spectrum availability, to support satellite broadband services. So some topics of interest to this group, may not be all. So yeah, I urge you to attend if you can. As far as ACP is concerned, we had a slow 2 weeks. We haven't reached the 300,000 mark yet. We are at 287 households that have signed up. I'm sure once school reopens, there will be more households that will sign up for it. Other than that, I don't think I have anything special to report back. Back to you, Steve.
Okay. Somebody have a question or comment? Okay, if not, Holly, do you have anything else that you need to announce or talk about?
No, Steve. I think Cindy will be speaking later, right?
She's up next, as a matter of fact.
Okay. All
So
right.
Cindy, you're on. You got lots of stuff to talk about.
Okay, yeah. Hi. Let's see. So we are planning the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. They're in their 6th or so year of sponsoring something called Digital Inclusion Week, which is in October. And the state is actually working with a committee to create a kickoff for that week. And so we're in the middle of planning that. It's going to be virtual, but we're lining up speakers and dignitaries and that sort of thing. And it's going really well. There'll be save the dates coming out for that pretty quickly. Tucson is also doing a digital literacy forum for that on that same week on Tuesday, October 4th. We're going to have that. So the Pima County group called Connect Pima is working on that. So that's underway, and we're getting the save the date out for that quickly as well. Just wanted to let people know I was invited by the National Digital Inclusion Alliance to attend a roundtable, virtual roundtable with the FCC at the White House. A couple of weeks ago, there were 2 separate sessions. I got to go to both of them, and we had some very attentive FCC and White House staff that were taking very close notes, asking us lots of questions, sounded really, really concerned about the health and functionality of getting people signed up for the Affordable Connectivity Program. So it was really heartening, and it's a long-term program. It's not permanent, but it's long-term, and they're really looking at making some changes to address the problems that are happening across the country. So that was a really good thing. And the Pima County, the Pima County Task Force on Broadband and Digital Inclusion and Digital Equity, like I said, they've kind of rebranded. They're calling it Connect Pima, and the work is going really well too. And I'd like to invite Michelle Simon to talk about that a little bit, or if you're available, Michelle.
Sure. We have we have standing meetings for the steering committee once a month, and the subcommittees also meet once a month. There's a lot of great stuff going on. We have currently the Hotspots Around Town program, which has been implemented. We've got about 75 wireless access points that have been turned on in the community. This is part of a collaboration with Cox Communication, and we should have more of the hotspots in place between now and October. So to tie in with National Digital Inclusion Week, we'll be doing things with Cox and doing some celebrations of that Hotspots Around Town program at the same time. Cindy's been extremely helpful with our digital literacy and inclusion subcommittee. She is one of the co-chairs and has helped to facilitate listening sessions across the county. And we will be doing more of those in the future as well. So back to you, Cindy.
Thank you. And that's all we have today, Steve.
So I just want to comment, like I did last time we met, that Pima County is doing some great stuff. Michelle, Cindy, good work on your part. And I think what's really interesting about what Pima County is doing, which I think is something that we all need to be thinking about in the communities we're working in, is that they're not just talking about connectivity, but digital inclusion and so forth. And so it's a really good model for people to be thinking about. While we're talking about that, I don't know, Janet Major, are you online?
I don't think I've seen her this morning.
So Mala, do you want to just talk quickly about the telehealth libraries and what's happening with that?
Just very quickly, because we couldn't have our Thursday meeting, update meeting, because Ken wasn't available for that meeting. So I don't have the soft opening updates for you, but we were planning the soft opening update to start last week, so it should have started. We had all the equipment tested, we had the software tested, and the two locations, the libraries and the two locations knew exactly what to do, how to start, how to go about it. I don't know if Michelle, you have any updates from Ken?
Ken is out of town due to an extreme illness with his mother. And
Yes.
so I don't have any updates as far as that goes. I do know that the libraries themselves have set up the equipment and created private areas for people to be able to interact and so forth. So that's what I know at this moment.
Right. Yeah.
So Mala, since we have a few new people online, can you take 2 minutes to explain what this project is?
Sure. Pima County received an LSTA subgrant to set up a pilot project in a couple of their libraries. They chose Aho and Aravaca libraries to set up a telehealth project. So the telehealth project involves it's opening the library to having telehealth visits. So community members can come into the library, get health information, but also more importantly, on certain days, they do have visits from the nurse practitioner from the public health. They also have student nurse practitioners from student nurses who are training with U of A to come and be there to support, for them to ask questions, and also to connect with their service provider, whoever their health service provider is, to take their vitals, to record it for the doctor, record in the sense, it's not going to be recorded on the computer, it will be transmitted as taken directly to their health service provider. And we have provided backpack kits for them. The backpack kits contain things like a thermometer, a stethoscope, software to transmit the heartbeats or whatever the stethoscope can record to the service provider, weigh scale, pulse oximeter and stuff like that. So all of those are available at both the libraries, as well as laptops at the libraries. When they can't do it within the library, we can set up a tent outside, and there is Wi-Fi available for them to be able to transmit this information to the doctors. Is that 2 minutes?
Yeah, that's great. Thanks. Any questions for Mala or Cindy? Aaron, I don't believe Aaron is online this morning with the Digital Equity Institute. I don't know, Cindy, if you have anything you want to talk about that Aaron's involved with, or if that's not something you want to get into.
No, I don't have anything new. on that.
Okay. So before we move on, even though this is a little bit off topic, but Kelly Green, I see that you're online this morning, and I wanted to introduce you. I think I talked to you briefly and wanted you to meet Cindy because Kelly is doing some really great work, and really I think the model that they're working on could be very useful for us with particularly Digital Inclusion Week. So Kelly, can you just take a couple minutes, if you don't mind me putting you on the spot, to just tell people who you are and what you're doing?
Sure, thank you. So I'm the Chief Operating Officer for SciTech Institute, and we are working on the statewide STEM ecosystem hubs and working groups. So with the idea of the event and the inclusion opportunity, we work closely with K-12 educational outreach programs across the state, including our own, the 6th through 12th grade chief science officers. But we have been focusing a little bit more on the K-3 group with our mascot that we take out to school. So we're interested in getting more people to attend those types of events that you host. So I dropped my information in the chat, and send me the details. We can share it out with our large network across the state, especially if it's a digital event. And then of course the STEM and Innovation Summit is on September 27th at the Science Center. So more information. We haven't gone live with that event information, but be looking forward to it going live here by Friday. So you can sign up, or if you want to be a presenter or talk about what's happening in the state, it's really an opportunity for everybody who's either providing access to STEM or a consumer and wants to be more knowledgeable about what's happening, including this great opportunity in our state for broadband. It's a great way to network as well.
Great, thanks, Kelly. So again, Cindy, I talked briefly with Kelly before I left on vacation, but I think as I've told you before, I think that what they were doing, it could be a great model for us to look at in terms of what we're trying to do with Digital Inclusion Week.
Sure, and I'm at Kelly. I'm actually going to come up to that September 27th event. Janet Major invited me to do that to promote ACP up there. So I will see you there.
Perfect.
Sounds great. So anything else, Cindy, before we move on? So Sophia, I see you're online. Do you have anything? I know Kelly's online. I don't believe Mylan is there. Shelby Brown is, however, I believe. So Sophia, do you have anything?
I don't have anything, but Kelly and Shelby are welcome to share.
Okay, so let's go to Shelby first and see if there's anything, Shelby, regarding E-rate that you want to share.
At this time, in terms of E-rate, no, not much going on, just that the new window for 23 opened up July 1, but that's about it. We're also starting to conduct training, and I believe we'll be starting that like on a monthly basis every month during the Office of Digital Teaching and Learning town halls. So if anybody wants to learn or understand or get more familiar with E-rate, feel free to join us. This is open to anybody from any state, including vendors as well. We just had our first meeting last week, and we do get people from other states that end up joining, and service providers. So feel free to join us for those. But that's it.
Then we got it covered. I truly don't know. I'm in a meeting, but the person you talk to is Angela or Catalina. So
I'm sorry, who was that?
Hey, Rory.
Actually, I'm going to have him give you a call right now.
Rory, can you mute?
I'll have him call you right back.
Steve, it's Rory.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, Rory, please. Okay. So moving on. Kelly, you're on.
Yes, good morning. I don't have any updates. I will say that I will piggyback on what Shelby mentioned as far as the E-rate training happening in our digital office hours. I can put the link to that in the chat. So if anybody has questions or you want to refer anybody who has E-rate questions to, please refer them to those office hours, and I'll put that link in the chat. But that's it.
So Kelly, just to be clear, if I understand correctly, that people who are joining who are not with school districts theoretically aren't supposed to be participating, but can, or has that changed, or could you clarify that, please?
I would ask Shelby to chime in here. I mean, yes, primarily our audience is schools, but Shelby, what happens if somebody pops in and they have a question? Certainly we're not going to kick them out. We're going to try and get them the right information.
Well, I think this is something new. In the past, I think Mylan's just conducted E-rate training as a separate thing. And I think that he's just piggybacking off of this time for this 2-hour window, which several schools are familiar with. But yeah, if they come in during the E-rate calls, yeah, we'll answer and help anybody. We did help a couple service providers, one of them getting registered, with the state and stuff like that as a new vendor and stuff like that. So
Kelly, I just want to be clear about, so I know Mylan just did, as Shelby was saying, just did a workshop, and most of them have been standalone. And now if you're tying it in with your open meetings, I just want to be clear, I want people to be clear about the expectations.
Right. So we did our first E-rate training last Thursday, and I think that it might be something that is designated as one Thursday per month. I don't know that we've determined which Thursday that might be, but the digital office hours are open, and if anybody can pop in with any question they have, that is certainly open. I would, and like I said, I'll share that link here.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Steve.
Any questions for Kelly? Or
Shelby? And if anybody, sorry. I was going to say, if anybody wants to learn more about the E-rate trainings and be on a separate email list on updates and stuff like that, I'll put my name in the chat and just send me an email to add you to that, and we can add you to that list.
And I do try to include those in our email announcements also.
Just a comment, Steve. The thinking behind this is because earlier the trainings used to, USAC didn't have good training videos, but now they do. So there is no point in repeating those trainings again. So instead, having an office hour means people have viewed the training and they're coming to us with particular questions that they have in their particular scenarios, because as you're well aware, every single case almost seems like an exception to the rule, and people have problems and issues interpreting. So those kind of sessions are more like helping individual users. And I do that with the libraries all the time, because I find that that works better than having a full-fledged training. It's like lecturing to them instead. The videos are available, the short videos are available, and they can view it just in time. So if they're doing the RFPs, they view the RFP video. If they're doing the form filling, they view the form filling video. If they're doing the billing, they watch the billing video. So that's the way it works.
Okay. Thanks, Mala. Why not? I think you have your hand up. Did you have something you want? And maybe you wanted to do that with the digital inclusion, but you want to go, please?
Yeah, sure. I dropped it in the chat, but when we were talking about ACP, I just wanted people to know that they will start seeing some ads and billboards and light rail type ads around August 15th we're working with the Digital Equity Institute and ASU's Experience Center that are serving as our navigators for ACP sign up. So we're going to be launching a big campaign that Common Sense is footing the bill for, using Phoenix as the pilot. We're hoping to expand this outside of just Phoenix to rural areas and to some tribal lands, as well as move on to some other states. So Phoenix is serving as the pilot for this in terms of the type of partners that you need to have for something like this, as well as the types of advertising that work best. It'll be on social. So I have a flyer in both English and Spanish that was just approved. I'm using it for some back to school nights, but if anybody wants to take that flyer and use it, I know Mala, thank you so much for being a great partner. They're going to use it at the libraries. Anybody who's doing backpack programs or is available to take it and print it and use it for any back to school night events or things like that, that would be great. So I just wanted to put that out there. The campaign launches on the 15th of August. So hopefully you'll start seeing some of the ads in some targeted areas in some lower income communities and where some lower income districts are in the Phoenix area.
So Elena, please send me that that file besides the chat, because although I should be able to download it, but once we turn off the chat, that you can't download that file. So if you'd send it to me, I'll make sure that it gets out to everybody.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because there's a couple of people asking for it. So if I send it to you, Steve, would you send it out?
I will.
Okay, great. Thank you. And yes, Cindy, we're actually meeting with we're meeting with Brandon today to pick his brain on some best practices. And then I think the library navigators may serve as some overflow if need be. Although the Experience Center at ASU has about 150 folks that are going to be trained on ACP with the materials that we're giving them. And then also CETF in California has a huge program to train up navigators with CBOs on the ground. That's the California, oh God, I can never remember. California technology fund, emergency technology fund. I don't know, something like that. So we, they have a pretty good model there that we've been, stealing from, basically.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
So Elena, you guys in Common Sense are just doing phenomenal work. Really amazing.
Thanks, Steve.
You bet. Anything else? So I don't believe Leah's online this morning. I don't believe Derek is. Gabe, I believe you are, though. Anything that you need to give us an update about what's happening with Sun Corridor? Gabe, you still there? Apparently not. Okay, moving on. So Wes, I don't believe you are online. But Rory, I know you are.
Yeah, my apologies about that. So I'm so sorry.
So anything on Final Mile?
Yeah, so Holbrook, the tower's up. Our guys ran into some rain issues last week, so they got delayed, but they're should have it fully running by the end of tomorrow night or Wednesday, worst case. We're dealing with a lot of zoning issues with the Sonoyta and Forest Lakes, but they're moving forward. A lot of paperwork involved in that particular process. So, but it's getting there.
Okay, anything else? All righty, let's move on. Any other announcements before we move on to our update this morning, our presentation this morning? Okay, if not, Heather, I'm going to stop sharing, and I think you have a presentation you want to share. So many of you know Heather Floyd, who's the public relations specialist with Valley Telecom, has been a regular participant in this task force. And they have some interesting news and a lot of exciting stuff happening, particularly in the southern part of the state. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Heather.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad you stayed with us just to see what's going on down here in southeastern Arizona. I'm with Valley Telecom, and as a refresher, Valley is a telephone cooperative that was formed 60 years ago. We're celebrating our 60th year, so that's exciting. We have several fun events going on throughout the year. We started telephone provider landline. Dial-up internet was offered in 1997, and then we transitioned to DSL in 2003 and fiber shortly after that. Right now, we do use all three of those technologies throughout our serving area. So here's our service area. Yes, it looks really small, but I wanted to show you this right here is Arizona. So you can see we're down here in the lower portion. We also do have some services over here in New Mexico. We cover 10,000 square miles, which is part of the problem with rural internet is how spread out we are. I updated this slide from the last presentation I did. It was November of last year. And at that time, we only had 7,000 internet customers, and we are now up to 8,000. About half of that was our Thatcher build out, but we have gained an additional 500 customers. And believe it or not, that phone line number is holding steady at 3,000. That is about where we were last November. So this is a little more zoomed in version. You can see this is Cochise County here, Graham County, and Greenlee County. That's where we primarily serve. We have 13 ILECs, which is the incumbent exchange, our original service territories. We have 4 CLECs, Safford, Wilcox, Tombstone, and Thatcher. Most of those, when we do a CLEC, is a fiber build. We have 3 offices, Clifton, Safford, and our headquarters is in Wilcox. That's where I'm officed out of. We did recently close our Animas office over here, and it was basically more because of a retirement of a key employee versus a foot traffic or a change in need over there. We do still have 2 technicians that work out of that office, so they're able to really serve that area well still with services needed. Valley, even though we're a small telephone cooperative, we do offer long haul fiber to other providers. We have this way over here is the El Paso area. We come through New Mexico, close to the border. And this area is Portal, Arizona, where we drop down close to Douglas, come across Tombstone, Huachuca City, Sonoyta. Back up here is Cerrito Road. And then we have another fiber run from Tucson all the way down to Nogales. So we do have those capabilities. What recently happened is we have agreed with the FCC to do a new reimbursement method. And the new reimbursement method for universal service funds is the Alternative Connect America model. The reason that the FCC is asking for that is because it allows them to get commitment from the providers to deploy a higher level of service. They're asking for 25.3 for service, which we knew a couple of years ago would have been well above what folks were using and needing. Now we know it's much higher. When we're making this commitment to build out, we're doing it with fiber, so they'll be able to go up to a gig. The reason that it's beneficial for Valley to use this is consistent funding over a period of 10 years. So we know exactly what our reimbursement will be. So it really helps with our planning. In order to do this ACAM2 method, we must meet construction benchmarks every year, which we've been doing. So we opted in 2019. We're committed to deploy 5,000 locations with service up to a gig. Up until this point, we've been doing some self-funding, and we've connected about 40% of those locations. Part of the delay in us seeking additional funding is because we're doing a merger between 2 of our phone co-ops. We had Copper Valley Telephone and Valley Telephone Cooperative, and we merged them into one. We did just get approved for a $45 million RUS loan to fund the remaining construction. So that'll be done within the next 5 years. And once that's complete, Valley will have 90% of that ILAC area will be fiber fed. So we're super excited because that's a higher level of service for our customers. It's meeting those needs of up to a gig, which will hopefully be a little bit ahead of what FCC is requiring of folks. I did leave a link on the bottom of this slide. If people want to learn more about that ACAM2 funding method, they can certainly look into it. So this is what we had last year. I showed you guys this map. Besides our backbone, this is where we had our fiber build out. Once we do this build out for the ACAM2 model, look at all those fun little colors there. The blues and the greens and the purples, those are all our little mini build outs to our communities. And actually, when this build's done, it's going to be within a mile of my home. So I'll have to seek a little more funding to get some more fiber to Dragoon, Arizona. These are the community that are receiving the ACAM2 builds. So communities that maybe some of you have heard of: Bonita, Bowie. Up in Greenlee, we have Clifton and Duncan. Down in Cochise, Elfrida. Morenci has about half right now because we did some joint pole stuff when Morenci Water and Electric upgraded their poles, but they still have some need. Pierce, Arizona, Portal, Arizona, San Simon, San Arizona, York Valley. So you guys can all move to these communities and work remote. We'd love to have you as neighbors. We also have these neighborhoods in New Mexico that'll be getting fiber: Animas, Columbus, Playas, Rodeo, and Verdon. The topic we've all been talking about for well over a year, the ACA State Broadband Development Grant. Valley was awarded 3 different projects: the West Wilcox Rural Fiber Investment, the Patagonia Regional Broadband Project, and City of Stafford piloted one to have some improved access in their downtown area. This is our West Wilcox Rural Fiber Investment. This right here is the City of Wilcox. Currently, that is all fiber fed. Actually, our headquarters is right about here. This is north of I-10, and this area is not fiber fed. You can see right here is the airport. This covers about 8.2 square miles. Right now, it is in our CLEC area, and we are serving that with wireless. It's going to reach 513 residential structures and about 5 businesses, including the airport. It's going to be 46 new miles of fiber. And the cost on this project is $2.9 million, with Valley matching 10%. And here's all those details I just rattled off for you. And Steve does have this presentation already he can share.
Okay.
And if you haven't seen it, Steve, I can send it again. Absolutely.
I did get it. I did see it this morning, so I did get it. Thank you.
Patagonia Regional Project. This one was really exciting because, believe it or not, guys, it came from the networking in this group. Karen Ziegler reached out to me to see what Valley could possibly do in Santa Cruz. Karen was working with CBA advocates, and they were working combinedly with the County of Santa Cruz. And they wanted to see what we could do in the region. We had initially proposed Patagonia, Sonoyta, and Elgin. And this is the project that Jeff talked about 2 weeks ago that he asked one of the providers to scale back. He asked us to remove Sonoyta and Elgin out of the project. And he asked for that because Sonoyta is going to be served through the Final Mile project. So that was great due diligence on his part to make sure there wasn't a duplication of state funds being utilized on projects. So we scaled back the project to serve just the city of Patagonia. This will be a new CLEC area for us. We will be doing a fiber build here. We are currently building an E-rate project to Patagonia School. So that helped with the cost of the project because the backbone was already to the community. This right here is the school. So we were able to already bring fiber through with an E-rate build here. Let's see. Okay, I visited last week with the town manager. This is going to reach 633 of their residences and businesses. It's going to be 11.5 new miles a mile of fiber covering 1.2 square miles. Patagonia, as you can see on that map, is nice and condensed. So that really, even though it's a rural build, this is going to be a little bit of an easier project for us because of how condensed that is. Total project cost is $2.1 million, with Valley matching 210,000. This third little project, City of Safford put in, and we're merely the vendor on it. They are going to be putting in fiber optic cable access points in their downtown area. The picture over here is the city hall, and they have a beautiful park around that, as you can see. They also have the courthouse in the area, but this is where a lot of their festivals take place. And they're putting in fiber access cable points to that for those tourism events, but also they do have some lower income residents that will be able to access the internet for free in this downtown area and also all of their public parks. The total project cost is going to be $117,000. They only put in a grant request for $65,000 because some of those other costs must have been covered in other things. I don't know the dynamics of their financing on that. And the city is matching 11% of that grant amount for $7,500. So we have a lot of projects going on, and right now my web guy is building out this fiber page, which is www.btc.net.fiber, and this is going to help folks track when fiber is coming to them. So as you can see right here, this is a Bonita project here. It explains right here what roads: Bonita, Klondike Road, and Klondike Road below Oak Creek. So if you're a local resident, you're going to be able to recognize whether or not this is your area. Right now, the engineering is complete on this. This is ready to go out to a contract bid. And then if they have interest, they'll be able to click this button and pre-sign up for services. So Ralph is doing due diligence and trying to get all of our projects loaded. And then as they progress through the different engineering phases, he will update where they are so folks will know. Another new tool that we just signed up for last week is fiberhomes.com. This is a national group that is really focused on realtors, and that's so realtors can identify where they have fiber in their neighborhoods. So if you go to fiberhomes.com, you can look up any address and you'll be able to determine whether or not it's served by fiber. So that's a new exciting thing for us. And as more of our projects get updated, we'll have more and more addresses populating in there as fiber served. We do all this with our 78 employees. These were some fun photos we had done recently, trying to get some teamwork generated and some happy smiles going. We have been working on our ACP outreach. What we've done from the initial thing is the ACP is featured right here on our website. This is our website here. This is a new social media ad going out currently. We've done several Facebook posts. We've done radio ads as well. We do a Facebook Live every 2 weeks, and Bob mentions it on those as well. This quarter, we're doing a couple of new things. We're doing bill stuffers in our bills going out to our customers. We are also doing some newspaper ads. And I know SEGO, which is the Southeastern Arizona Government Organization, is going to be doing some outreach, and they cover the counties that we're actually in, which is Cochise, Graham, Greenlee, and Santa Cruz. So I'm looking forward to seeing the outreach that SEGO does and see if that can help our residents. We've always been school and education focused. We proactively placed fiber to the 17 schools that we've served in the past 5 years, so they already have fiber. During the COVID episodes, we donated $10,000 to each of our schools so they could purchase equipment to facilitate learning for their students. 10 of them took us up on that offer. And every year we grant scholarships in excess of $125,000. This year, I think it was about 153. And those scholarships are anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000 each. And the students can reapply for furthering years. We've given out over $1.5 million since we've done that. And here's my contact information. So anybody have any questions? I see there's a bunch of chatting going on here, but I haven't been able to catch up to see if it's related to my presentation.
Awesome stuff. And Kelly Green, I saw you made some comments, so it looks like you and Heather need to have some conversation.
Always up for conversation, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I just want to kind of piggyback to everybody on the call, sharing what you do and where you work and what the fiber is. These are all the things that not only students, but bringing awareness to how it actually works. I don't know if any of you remember that show, How It's Made. I think would help people understand that the challenges that rural areas have in the state compared to the metropolitan areas, and especially for students when they get frustrated that their internet isn't working as fast as it could, having them understand how it actually is created and monitored, and the effort that's going in to make it faster and more reliable. I think it's just a really powerful information that we could have you on as a presenter, and anybody on this call sharing what your company does to better the lives of Arizona residents.
Sure, I'd be happy to. I hope the dates that work out for us. And I do know Ty White. I was happily present when he received the Arizona Rural School Association Teacher of the Year Award last year up in Flagstaff. That was wonderful. That was just a happy accident that I happened to attend that conference.
Oh my gosh, and he was just nominated. He's in the finalist for another one this year. So yay!
I almost wish I could go back to school and be taught by Ty. He's a fantastic science teacher doing great work in rural Arizona.
Right? Like I might have liked chemistry.
Exactly.
Okay, so Heather did send me her presentation and it will be available. It'll probably be a day or two before I get out the summary of the meeting since I am on vacation, but I do have her information, and of course it's in, her contact information is available, and I assume in the chat, Heather.
Sure,
and
I can do that.
Also, as you know, I will be including the registration list with contact information and so forth. So any other questions or comments for Heather?
I have a quick question for Heather.
Yeah, Sean?
Yeah, Heather, I'm just curious, in Patagonia, I know you said you're going to have the city covered. There are a lot of ranches in the area. I'm wondering, will you be able to do any wireless point-to-point from there?
That isn't currently in the plan, but we haven't done any outreach over in the Patagonia area yet to see what the needs are and where those might be. So this project was generated through the county, and they had requested it. And unfortunately, the town wasn't super involved. So my meeting last week was kind of the introduction, telling the town manager what was planned and what was going on. I do have another presentation. I'm going out there on August 10th. I have a presentation to the County Board of Supervisors on the 16th, and we're just going to be growing our outreach from there, and we'll see what discussions come up from that. But currently, we aren't planning on doing any wireless from where we're started. There's a lot of trees in Patagonia, so it might depend on where the ranches are located, where we could possibly best suit a tower if need be. We do serve a wireless product in Wilcox and Kansas Settlement, but we will see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions for Heather? Comments?
Hi, Steve. This is Karen Ziegler. I just have a comment. I just wanted to give kudos to Heather and her team. They were awesome to work with the Santa Cruz County folks. And to answer Sean's question a little bit too, is that this project was geared around the ACA requirements, which was, heavily focused on, a fiber last mile. So we had to fit within those parameters. But Valley Telecom and Cox have been great partners, and we're having lots of discussions about future planning. And the meeting that Heather spoke of on August 16th is a study session for the board to talk about where the county and the rest of the locals want to go from this point forward, and tackle some of the other funding that will be coming available next year. But anyway, I just wanted to say kudos to Heather and her team. They've done a great job.
And Karen was a great guide through the grant process, as you can all imagine it. She made it approachable and a little bit easier through the process.
Thanks.
Okay, any other questions, comments, or announcements for today before we end the meeting? If not, again, we will not meet next week, but we will meet the following week, and I will send out a meeting invite later today. So if there's nothing else, I believe that we are done for today. Now, again, reminder, we do our kibitzing for anybody who wants to stay online after we end this meeting to just chat, share information, ask questions or whatever. So we will be doing that, and it might be 5 minutes, it might be 10, 15 minutes, an hour, depending on what people have to say. So with that, I'm going to stop the recording and look forward to some kibitzing and seeing you all in a couple of weeks. And Kelly Green, it looks like you've got a lot of people you need to be talking to.
Busy, busy. I love it. Thank you so much. And please go enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.